Thank you, guys. Want to welcome everybody to the September 21st council meeting. Got a statement to read first. Governor DeSantis Executive Order number 20-193 extended the governor's authorization for local government bodies to continue to conduct meetings without an in-person quorum at any specific location and to hold meetings under Communications Media Technology or CMT. On April 6, 2020, the City of Jacksonville Beach Council approved at the public meeting the use of CMT as an alternative time and alternative start times to conduct the council meetings and briefings. And accordingly, this council meeting is being held in a modified manner using CMT. And the council staff and public are not physically present in City Hall tonight. In a moment, the city attorney will explain the CMT procedures and adaptations for public attendance and public comment that have been put in place. The city council members and city personnel are appearing through CMT. We're going to go ahead and start tonight with the invocation. Phil, do you mind taking that?
Lord, bless us tonight as we make decisions for the betterment of our community. Please bless those serving our country in the military, both here and abroad, and will be with our first responders as they protect us and keep us safe. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. And if you would please stand and face the nearest flag for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, City Attorney, if you would please state the CMT procedures and adaptations being utilized this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. The city provided the following CMT options for the public to participate, view, and listen to tonight's meeting. The public could view and listen via live stream on the City of Jacksonville Beach YouTube channel. We provided that information. We also provide that the public may listen via phone, and we provided that information and also information for the hearing and speech impaired to provide them with access. Also that the public may submit questions and comments regarding any scheduled item on the agenda or for courtesy of the floor. Provided that those comments may be submitted to the city clerk via her email address, to the city clerk at a U.S. mail address at City Hall, and also providing those comments through the drop box at the main entrance of City Hall. We provided all of those forms for the public to submit comments. We also created a public comment submission form on the Jacksonville Beach website. We provided the link to that, and that those comments could be made for any action item or also for courtesy of the floor. And each one of the submissions would become public record. Those comments would be read into the record at the appropriate time during the meeting. And we asked that those comments would be limited to a reading time of 3 minutes, as we typically do. And we also provided that members of the public may opt to comment by dialing in and utilizing Zoom. We asked that they would register in advance. We provided all of the information for the public to utilize that additional CMT method. And also that we would be receiving any comments up until 5 minutes, or I believe 15 minutes, before any particular agenda item is addressed by the mayor. And that would be for any agenda item and or for courtesy of the floor time period. And we would remind the council members tonight to please refrain from utilizing any electronic devices or text messaging to read, review, receive, or send any communication to any other council members or any non-members with respect to any agenda item topic tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Doherty.
Here.
Councilmember Demont.
Here.
Golding.
Here.
Hoffman.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Vogelsang.
Here.
Mayor Latham.
Here. And moving on to 180, please.
I move that we approve the minutes of the special council meeting held on September 3rd, 2020, tentative budget.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council or debate? And nobody on there, so All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. 181, please.
I move that we approve the minutes of the council briefing held on September 8th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any debate by the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. 182.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting held on September 8th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any debate by the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. 183.
I move that we approve the minutes of the special council meeting held on September 14th, 2020, budget adoption.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any debate by the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. And 184, please.
I move that we approve the minutes of the special council briefing held on September 14th, 2020.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any debate by the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. Announcements. Who's got announcements today? Ms. Golding.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to congratulate the CPA class 44, of which I was a member of that class 15 years after I took it, back in 2005. And want to congratulate them because it took 5 months to graduate from the class, thanks to COVID. But it was a great class, and I want to thank Chief Smith and Sergeant Tater and all the officers that were involved in conducting all the classes. I think it was a great class, despite the delay we had.
We lost you, Sandy.
You're gone, Sandy? Oh,
Sorry,
Couldn't-
can you hear me?
yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. My headset is kind of wonky. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I also want to mention that Beaches Watch is having a virtual candidate forum for the Jacksonville Beach candidates on Thursday, October 1st at 7 p.m. So I would highly encourage anybody who is voting in Jacksonville Beach to plan to attend that candidate forum so that you can learn about the candidates, and the information about the Zoom link for the forum will be on beacheswatch.com. Then I just wanted to mention that I attended the Florida League of Cities Municipal Administration Policy Committee, and just want to mention that they do have a working group for vacation rentals, and I want to thank Mike Stefopoulos and Mayor Latham both for participating in that working group this summer. They presented the information that the group put together, and it was very good. So I want to thank you guys for participating in that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, there was some discussion maybe a month or so ago. The North Florida Land Trust had brought up that there was some marshland that's to the west of Plantation Oaks that the White family was considering donating to the city of Jacks Beach, and just wanted to give everybody an update to let you know the White family decided not to donate it to the city of Jacksonville Beach. And they actually decided to sell it to one of the adjacent property owners who has a dock that extends into that marsh property. So unfortunately, we will not be getting that marshland. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Sandy. Ms. Dumont?
Thank you, Mayor. 2 announcements. Fill out your census 2020. Please fill out your census. That's how they know that we're here and how much we are allotted to in our federal dollars. We pay federal income tax. We want to make sure that we get as much back as we possibly can. So please fill out your 2020 census. And while you're at it, if you are not registered to vote, please register to vote and then vote. The deadline is Monday, October 5th to register. So please go out and register and fill out your census. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, at this time, we'll move to the next agenda item, which is courtesy of the floor. Jacob, do we have anybody via phone?
We do not.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody via email?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 185, please.
I move that we accept the financial reports for the month of August 2020.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any debate by the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Laura, you're on mute.
Councilmember Doherty,
Yes.
Dumont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And Mr. Stefopoulos, is the staff ready to brief 186?
We are, Mayor. 186 is looking for the approval to authorize purchase and installation of ultraviolet lights within the city's air handling systems for all of our buildings that have primary occupancy for our employees or the public. This is actually an option we've been exploring over the past several months. Many of you may have seen information that ultraviolet radiation actually mutates and prevents viruses from reproducing. And that includes not just COVID-19, but also influenza viruses. The nice thing about this particular item is that we did receive a rebate with regards to our health insurance premiums. So we would be pulling from those funds to use towards, quote, health improvements for our employees. There should be a listing within your agenda memo that shows you the buildings that we would be installing these systems in, along with a little chart that shows you the effectiveness of the ultraviolet radiation with regards to different pathogens, so to speak. I do have Ashley Gossett, our CFO, on the line if you have any additional questions.
Thank you, sir. Any additional questions by anyone from the council? Ms. Golden?
Just for the sake of the public, Mike, could you please share with everyone how what the expected cost would be for, I guess the yearly cost would be for this?
Yeah, Ashley, do you happen to have those numbers handy? I know that the cost to install the system is going to be $113,000. The UV bulbs that will be used in the system need to be changed out approximately once per year, between $50 and $100. And the electrical cost to run the systems is relatively nominal. But these are systems that should last us well in excess of a decade and hopefully prove to provide health benefits to our employees.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Miss, you're all set. Any other comments, debate, or questions from the council? Okay, seeking a motion, please.
I move that we approve the $113,742.50 purchase and installation of UVC lights and air handling units at city facilities from Train Technologies using GSA Federal Supply Schedule contract number 47Q SWA 20D002A.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other debate by the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Dumont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes, and I'm sorry, and Mr. Stefopoulos, are you prepared to brief 187?
Yes, 187 is seeking authorization to hire an architect to assist the city with the creation of a space needs analysis for multiple buildings. One of the things that I've noted in my short time here at the city of Jax Beach is that the buildings that we're working in were basically designed and constructed in excess of 20 years ago. And the functionality that those buildings were designed for has changed over a period of time. For anyone who's been to the O&M building, you note that in the lobby, there's actually an area for utility bill payments, except utility bill payments are no longer received in that building. They're actually received at City Hall. We've also seen a boom, so to speak, with regards to the use of technology and future needs here at City Hall for the expansion of the IT department. Basically, there are 3 buildings where we feel we need to have the space needs analysis performed in order to see if there are ways we can maximize and achieve more space within our existing footprint, or potentially may need to make some physical modifications for that to happen. The finance department, through purchasing, went through the RFQ process, and the firm of Albert Norman Brady Architects is who we are looking to utilize going forward. I do have CFO Gossett on the line if you have any questions for her, or if there's anything she'd like to add.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, any debate or discussion from the council? Seeking a motion then, please.
I move that we award RFQ number 07-1920 Space Needs Assessment to Ebert Norman Brady Architects as described in the memorandum from the Property and Procurement Officer dated September 10th, 2020.
Second.
A motion and a second. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Demont,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And Mr. Stefopoulos, 188.
Thank you, Mayor. 188 is looking to award standby contracts for disaster debris management, recovery, and response services to 2 different firms. As the council is likely aware, anytime we have a natural disaster and we need to do debris collection and removal, Federal Emergency Management, FEMA, requires us to use a certified contractor in order to document all of the removal activities that occur in order for us to be eligible for reimbursement. With that, I'll turn it over to Dennis to talk a little bit about the 2 firms and the scope of work.
Yes, thanks, Mayor and Council. Again, our primary contractor for this particular RFP will be Series again. They have been our contractor for the last contract period. We did just finish up with the debris management or the debris monitoring piece of it. This is the second piece of that, which is the debris management, actually taking care of what goes in and out as these go. So we have decided to have a 2 firms denoted so that we have options and abilities to be able to receive reimbursement from FEMA in the event that we do have an event. And so what we're recommending is we proceed ahead with both firms as denoted in the memo.
Thanks, Dennis. Is Saris, is that your primary? Are you listing one primary over the other, or you looking to go?
Yeah, this, unfortunately, with the way the process went, we do have Series as primary and then Arbor Masters as secondary. We got late to the ball game on trying to being able to figure out an ability to be able to not have to have a primary and a secondary. So we do have those, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else in the council? Okay, seeking a motion, please.
I move that we award RFP number 03-1920 standby contracts for disaster debris management, recovery, and response services to the 2 highest ranked respondents, Series Environmental Services, Inc. and Shawnee Mission Tree Service, Inc., doing business as Arbor Masters Tree Service for a period of 5 years as described in the memorandum from the Public Works Project Engineer dated September 8th, 2020.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any last debate or discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmembers Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Demont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And Madam Clerk, could you please read ordinance number 2020-8145, second reading, public hearing by title only, please.
An ordinance to revise Chapter 12 and 34 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, to adapt the city's code to the new Florida statute, Section 509.102, concerning mobile food dispensing vehicles, providing for legislative findings, repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, codification, and an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. The ordinance for the amendment of Land Development Code is before this council and from public hearing and consideration on its second reading. Under the laws of the state of Florida, an ordinance which changes the actual list of permitted conditional or prohibited uses within the zoning category or otherwise changes the text to land development code is a quasi-legislative proceedings. Quasi-legislative proceeding means that the governing body is acting in its rulemaking capacity. It is the duty of the council to arrive at a sound decision regarding the use of property within the city. This includes receiving citizen input regarding the proposed uses within a zoning category. The application has been reviewed by staff and planning for consistency with other portions of the land development code and the comprehensive plan. The council may hear from all interested parties in the legislative determination of an amendment to the text of the land development code. Council's decision on a text amendment application is based on the criteria set forth in section 34-211 of the land development code. Each member of the council has been provided a copy of the criteria. And also a note here from the attorney, please recognize this ordinance is predominantly amending chapter 12, which is food and food products of the city code of ordinances, in which case the land development code is not being changed and a quasi-legislative proceedings is not required. However, the ordinance also makes a few minor changes to chapter 34 of the land development code. So this is in fact a quasi-legislative proceeding and being utilized for those portions of the ordinance limited to and regarding chapter 34. I'm now going to open the public hearing. And is there anybody from the applicant or the city that would like to summarize this project or this change rather?
Yes, sir, Mayor. I'm on, and also Heather Ireland, our senior planner, can speak to it. But I also spoke to some council members individually with respect to this ordinance on its second reading. I'd be glad to answer their questions, or Heather and I can answer their questions if they'd like to raise those. And whenever you're ready.
Okay, Ms. Hoffman has a question.
It is one that I already raised with you, but I just, for the benefit of some of the citizens that asked me about this today, this does not change the zoning districts that food trucks are currently allowed in, correct?
That's correct. The districts remain the same as they were prior to this ordinance change. And we can revisit the ordinance after this one's passed and adopted by council. If it is, we can revisit the ordinance to add other zoning districts.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Dumont?
Thank you, Mayor. I was the other council person who spoke with him today. I heard from a couple people, and I was informed Sunday that there is an HOA that has food trucks, and they're very happy with their food truck that comes in on the weekend, especially during the time of COVID. They're not able to go out for dinner as family members, and so what they do is they have the food trucks there, and families from throughout the HOA can go there and grab dinner. The same thing with the Saturday mornings for like coffee and breakfast. It's a nice way of developing community. The way the code is, even the original code is written, is that it's not allowed to operate there. However, after speaking with Chris, the city attorney, Chris, he really wants to get this passed as soon as possible because of to align with what the state wants. But the city itself is looking at how to incorporate specifically HOAs so that an HOA can ask to have a food truck attend it to operate in its HOA versus a resident of that HOA. So it's like another level. Versus me just inviting a food truck over, and my neighbor might not like it. My neighbor has nobody to note the address to other than the city. So this way the HOA would be the entity inviting the food truck. And he told me that he sees that this should be able to be done before the end of the year. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that on record, that an amendment should go in front of council for this, because it has to go to the planning department first before the end of the year so that the food trucks can operate. Tying it back to what we were discussing in the briefing when it came to the city being a little bit flexible with regard to the operation of outdoor seating and things such as that, this would fall into that realm with the food truck in the HOA. If Chris, the attorney Chris, wants to follow up on that,
Sure.
please do.
Yes, thank you. So to make the changes that we were discussing today, again, I discussed these individually with two council members, but they just happen to have some similar topics of questions and concerns. But to make the substantive changes that we discussed, that really would bring this ordinance back to its starting point and with respect to the process that it should, go through, which is go to the planning commission, go through a first reading and second reading of the city council. So those are substantive changes. And it's true, I would suggest to the council that the ordinance as it is drafted, I recommend that the council approve it because we're trying to comply with the way that the new Florida statute reads. So I would suggest that we're probably ahead of the game as compared to other municipalities, and that we have this ordinance and that we're matching what the Florida statute would expect us to do in our local ordinance. So we should get that through, but then, with council's direction, of course, begin the process of amending that so that the residential districts and the HOA topic that Ms. Golding just talked, that Ms. Dumont just talked about, we work that in. But that can come through the normal process, going to the planning commission and then the first two readings with the council. And we can get to work on that right away.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other questions or debate? Going to close the floor to public hearing. And before requesting a motion on this ordinance, beginning with myself, each of the members is requested to indicate for the record both the names of persons and the substance of any ex parte communications regarding this application. An ex parte communication refers to any meeting or discussion with a person or citizen who may have an interest in the decision which occurred outside of the public hearing process. Starting with myself, I have none, and I'm going to go down the list here as it's provided. Ms. Hoffman?
I spoke with Mr. Victor Malone this afternoon, who is a resident of Riptide.
Thank you. Mr. Nichols?
No.
Ms. Dumont?
I spoke with Gary Paytow yesterday and Barbara McHugh through email today. Both are Ocean K residents.
Thank you. And Mr. Doherty?
I've had none.
Mr. Vogelsang?
None.
Ms. Golding? Sandy, your mic's muted.
I've had none.
Okay, thank you. I got everybody, right? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, can we get a motion, please?
I move that we adopt ordinance number 2020-8145 to revise and amend the city's code of ordinances, chapter 12 and 34 to conform and comply with the Florida statutes, chapter 509.102.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, and before opening the floor for any additional discussion or questions, please be reminded that our decision will be based on the criteria set forth in the Land Development Code, staff's report, and the recommendation of the Planning Commission and the public input at all hearings. Last chance for discussion and debate. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Council members Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Demont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And we're moving on to the next item. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2020-8149, second reading, public hearing by title only, please.
An ordinance to amend Plan Unit Development, PUD Ordinance Number 99-7765, establishing a Plan Unit Development, PUD zoning district, supplementing the comprehensive zoning regulations and zoning atlas for the city of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, as provided under Chapter 34 of the Code of Ordinances of said city.
Thank you, ma'am. This ordinance to amend the PUD zoning regulations of property is before the council for a public hearing and consideration on its second reading. Under the laws of the state of Florida, an application to amend the zoning regulations governing a property is handled as a quasi-judicial proceeding. Quasi-judicial proceeding means that the government body is now functioning in a manner similar to a court, with the mayor and council sitting as impartial decision makers, hearing testimony and questioning presenters who are to provide substantial and competent evidence to support their side of the issue. It is the duty of the council to arrive at sound decisions regarding the use of the property within the city. This includes receiving citizen input regarding to the proposed use on the neighborhood, especially when that input is fact-based and not a simple expression of opinion. If the applicant's burden is to demonstrate that their application is consistent with land development code and the comprehensive plan, it is the applicant's burden, excuse me. If the applicant is successful in showing consistency, then it is up to local government to produce competent, substantial evidence of record that the application should be denied. The council's decision on the zoning amendment application is based on the criteria set forth in section 34.211 of the Land Development Code. Each member of the council has been provided a copy of the criteria. And in addition, the council has received a copy of the application and the staff and planning commission reports on the PUD zoning amendment request. I'll now open the public hearing to ordinance number 20208149. And is there anybody that wishes to speak? Anybody from the public? Jacob, do we have anybody that's standing by the call?
We do not.
Madam Clerk, do we have any emails?
No, we do not.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And before requesting a motion on this ordinance, beginning with myself, each of the members is requested to indicate for the record both the names and the persons of any substance of any ex parte communication regarding this application. An ex parte communication refers to any meeting or discussion with a person or citizen who may have an interest in the decision which occurred outside of the public hearing process. I can do the same thing here. I'm going to say I had none, and I'm going to go down the list as it's currently sitting. Ms. Hoffman?
I had a call from Katie Southall today, who is a resident of Riptide, who had some questions and concerns about the project.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Nichols?
I received an email from Miss Carrie Lancey, 3148 Isabella Boulevard, asking for more information about this. I forwarded it to Mr. Mann and told her what my basic understanding of this motion was.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Dumont?
None.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Doherty?
I've had none.
Mr. Vogelsang?
None.
Miss Golding, you moved somehow. Ms. Golding?
I've had none.
Okay, thank you. And before opening this, let's get a motion first. Can you get a motion, please, Ms. Hoffman?
Sure. I move that we adopt ordinance number 2020-8149, amending PUD rezoning ordinance number 99-7765, governing the property located at 2520-2902 Isabella Boulevard by providing a new project narrative and preliminary development plan, Isabella Office Center PUD.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. And before opening the floor for discussion or questions by the council, be reminded that our decision will be based on the criteria set forth in the Land Development Code, and the council is required to approve a statement of findings of fact, stating the basis on which these facts were determined and the decision was made. This time I'll open the floor for the council discussion. This is our second reading. Anybody have any debate, questions, or comments? Ms. Hoffman.
Thank you. I spoke, or I guess I texted a little bit with Miss Ireland, so she should be prepared to address this, but the concerns that were kind of flying around Riptide today via their neighborhood Facebook group were, I think when they saw the two-family dwellings, multifamily dwellings, and townhouses, that they just envisioned condos going up. They're just on the other side of the lake from this property. So can you address that, Miss Ireland, and just talk I guess just kind of go back to basics on what this would do to actually change the zoning here.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. So part of the approved PUD, it's not only the list of permitted uses, but it's also the site plan. Since that property is almost entirely built out, if the property owner or a subsequent owner were to come in and want to, let's say, replace those office buildings with townhouses, for example, or two-family dwellings, that would require them to amend the approved site plan, which would bring them right back before you guys for public input and vote. So it's possible, but it would have to go back through the whole process again.
Thank you.
Heather. Any other debate, council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmembers Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Demont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And Madam Clerk, if you would please read ordinance number 2020-8150, second reading, public hearing by title only, please.
Ordinance of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, amending the employee benefits and leave policy, providing for an additional paid holiday, President's Day, providing for legislative findings, direction to amend city policy, repeal of conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Hoffman, you got a hand up. Are we?
Oh, sorry, no.
Okay. This ordinance is before the council for a public hearing and consideration of its second reading. And I'm now going to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2020-8150. Jacob, did we have any callers?
We do not.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, any emails?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you, ma'am. Closing the public meeting. And going to request a motion at this time.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 2020-8150, amending the city employees benefits and leave policy to provide President's Day as an official paid holiday for employees and staff.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion or debate by the council? Any questions for the staff? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmembers Doherty,
Yes.
Demont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. And we're in the finish line, coming in sight here. Madam Clerk, please read ordinance number 2020-8151, second reading, public hearing by title only, please.
An ordinance amending Chapter 8, Cemeteries of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, Code of Ordinances by revising the title and amending Section 8-2, same, city clerk to maintain record of grantees, etc., and amending Section 8-3, disinterments and molesting graves, by changing the reference from city clerk to Parks and Recreation Department, providing for adoption and recitals, severability, repeal of conflicting ordinances, codification, and an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. This ordinance is before the council for a public hearing and consideration on its second reading. Now open public hearing on ordinance number 2020-8151. Jacob, do we have any callers?
We do not.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, any emails?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay, thank you very much. Going to close public hearing and request a motion to adopt the ordinance as read.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 2020-8151, amending Chapter 8, Section 8-2 and Section 8-3 of the City Code of Ordinances to replace the city clerk as cemetery records custodian with the Parks and Recreation Department.
Got a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Okay, is there any discussion or debate by the council? Seeing none, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmembers Demont,
Yes.
Golding,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Vogelsang,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes, ma'am. And city attorney or city manager, do you have any comments for this evening?
Only comment,
Mayor, I'd just like to state that we're excited to have basically what is our first workers' compensation seminar for our department directors and employees. This is going to happen this week, and I feel like this is going to be very beneficial for our employees and our department directors, just so that there's clarity and for the employees and directors. They have a lot of questions that they had. It's going to inform them. It's good to have the employees understand this what could be a confusing area of law that a lot of people don't get. And it helps the department directors in the way that they handle and process workers' comp claims. And also help them understand what the cities as the organization, what their legal rights are and what their legal requirements are. But anyhow, we're having the seminar, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to it. It's going to be good and very informative. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Stepopoulos, do you have anything?
yes, just a reminder for the mayor and the council and public, and that is that right now we are still planning on October being in-person meetings, unless the governor does an extension to CMT. It's currently the 21st of September, and there has been no indication of an extension so far. So we are planning on October 5th being in an in-person council meeting in the chambers starting at 6 p.m. And we would be alternating with the council briefings on the 2nd and 4th Mondays of the month. So just a reminder, and we'll see if the governor does anything between now and 9 days.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a good night. This meeting's adjourned.